Hey there, it's Sam. On Friday, October 4th, at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have the new moon in Virgo. Now, the new moon is a time when the sun and moon come together at the same point in space. Now, what happens then is it's like initiating a new cycle of growth. And at this time, it's going to be a new cycle related to themes that have to do with Virgo. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So it brings together this quality of flexibility, curiosity, creativity, and organization of the details with that feminine internal reflective quality. So Virgo is the feminine quality of Mercury, where that energy becomes an internal psychological principle. So reflecting upon all the details that we're looking to manage and organize is what Virgo energy is about. So it's also what's called a tamasic sign, which is related to trying to be safe and trying to avoid danger, trying to make sure that we take those things seriously. So this is why Virgo has a quality of being a little sort of fussy at times and a little worried that all of those details aren't matched up. And it might be that one detail that slips by my filter that's the one that really does me in. Because once we become aware of all the details, then we become aware that there's danger in certain ones getting through. And this is why Virgo has this kind of worried nature. Often when people, for instance, if they have a lot of planets in Virgo, there might have been some health problems or other things in life that really made them hone their discrimination. Because let's say when we have a health problem, that's really the only thing that concerns us. Like if suddenly you cut yourself, even if it wasn't a serious cut, that would take all your attention. You would just focus all your attention on that thing until it stopped bleeding. You'd make sure it wasn't infected. You'd watch every little thing that you did. And that attention to detail is what Virgo is about. And it's also where we kind of worry about those details. It's not, for instance, Mercury also rules Gemini, which is the outer masculine quality of Mercury, where we're more externalized, and it has to do with language, and it has to do with seeking details externally and organizing things externally. Virgo is first about internal organization, internal reflective energy, and making sure that we feel that psychological strength from how we've organized our environment. So this is why we can feel some pressure to get it right, to get all those details right in Virgo. So this is why it's a little bit worried, because we are aware that we can't manage everything. We can't organize every detail. There's going to be some that get through, and those are the ones that we have to pay attention to. This is why it's a tamasic sign, which is about being a little worried because we're aware of the danger. So we're starting that new cycle of Virgo on Friday, October the 4th. And it's going to happen in the nakshatra of Hasta. Hasta literally means hand, and it means the open hand. So it's a hand that is open. Now, the hand allows us to manifest things. It allows us to, it's literally a symbol of our attachment and also of our action, because we take action through the hands. The hand also grabs and holds on to things. But Hasta is symbolized by, as I said, like an open hand, where the hand has taken action, but it's saying, okay, it can let go. It can also release and not clutch, not like got this white knuckle grip of, the things in our life. So, the goddess Kali wears a skirt of arms dangling. Kali is the goddess of time that cuts away our illusions that are accumulated through time. So she wears a garland of skulls, which is our ideas and our heads, all the many heads that we have, and our arms, which is our attachment. So Hasta is literally where we manifest, but can also give up the results to a higher power, you might say, where we're not so invested in the outcome. It doesn't mean, that's a higher potential. There might be a lot of attachment in Hasta and a lot of need to manifest. So this is a great nakshatra for manifestation. This is a great cycle of manifestation. good for wealth, good for manifesting your heart's desire, and that, bringing it into the palm of your hand. So, a few other things about this full moon, this new moon rather, is we still have those planets in Libra. Now, when Mercury first moved into Libra last week, we immediately saw some possible concessions and some diplomatic advances, and there still are quite a few diplomatic advances happening in the world. In particular, we saw the immediate releasing of difficulty with the Iranian and U.S. talks, which, our two countries hadn't spoken for more than 30 years. And then we saw some movement on the Syria issue where the UN was going to go in, and it looked like there was more diplomatic headway to be made. Since Mercury has gotten closer to Saturn and Rahu, the North Node, we've seen some of these things get bottled up, including, like here in the U.S., the budget debate has gotten very entrenched now, because Mercury is now very close to Saturn and Rahu, and it could really threaten global economics and things like that as well. So, there was a lot of promise when Mercury went into Libra of diplomacy and more tolerance and openness. Now we're seeing, as it gets closer to Saturn and Rahu, there's more obsession over our point of view and our views. The other thing is Venus has moved into Scorpio, so Venus will be in Scorpio by the time of that as well. So Venus is no longer in Libra. That's one of the biggest changes that happened since Mercury went into Libra, and we saw this increased potential for diplomacy. Since then, Venus has moved into Scorpio, so there's no longer the sanction of Venus in Libra to keep that smooth tide of compromise and equality flowing. Now that Venus has gone into Scorpio, it's much more polarizing, it's much more extreme, intense, and emotional about what we want. So this is also perhaps being shown in relationships and in all kinds of interactions. There's much more intensity and, drama and sort of willfulness, like emotional willfulness around what we want and fulfilling our desires. And also, a lot of insecurities being projected. There might be, with Venus and Scorpio now, there might be more of this kind of, obsession over, sexual themes, or themes that are less about, honoring everyone's wishes equally. And of course, there's still a lot of planets in Libra, though, Saturn, Rahu, and Mercury, so there's still a lot of that Libra energy, but the ruler has now gone into Scorpio. Of course, Jupiter is still aspecting from Gemini, still aspecting those planets in Libra. It's a separating aspect at this point, though, but there's still that aspect of Jupiter there. So it shows that these are times where there's going to be a lot of diplomatic wrangling. Jupiter's going to turn retrograde in a couple months, month and a half or so, and it's going to go back over that Saturn-Rahu point and then go back over it again. So a lot of this diplomacy and these issues that are being, debated and discussed now are works in progress, and so we'll be seeing that as well. So now I'll do the forecast. Oh, and the other thing is Mars has just moved into Leo. So Mars also moves into Leo on Friday evening, late evening. It really goes in there on Saturday, November the 5th, but we also have this Mars moving into Leo. Mars had been into Cancer and had been debilitated for, a month and a half or so. Mars entering Leo is also going to be a big part of this next cycle of Virgo. So now I'm going to do a forecast for my members. If you want to hear how this next cycle will affect you, you can, you can check it out for like 1 penny, and you can get the forecast for your sign for the upcoming month as well.